Okay, welcome to Google Classroom. Classroom can be accessed easily by just typing in classroom.google.com. When you first come here, it will be empty. If you have already participated in another class, you will see it here as a student. As a teacher, this is how you create a class. Google will ask you if you're using Classroom with students. Students means anyone who is under the age of 18 or 21, depending on your law in your region. And it's basically asking because of privacy and security. So if it's against the law for students under the age of 18 to sign up for a service like this, you might have to apply for a G Suite for Education account. But generally, this only applies to American schools. So you probably don't need to worry about this and you can just move forward. Here you will name your class. For example, writing for IELTS. You can add some more details about it if you want. It's not really necessary. Then you create your class and Google will form the folders for the classroom inside of your Google Drive. So everything that you use in Google Classroom will be added to your Drive. Keep that in mind if you're trying to keep your storage low. This code here is how you invite students to your class. There are two ways to invite them. You can put their emails directly here, people, students, type their email, and then we'll send an invitation to them. Or you can just copy this code and give it to them. You can display it like this for them if they're on their mobiles in front of the computer. Now, the main features of Google Classroom that you need to be aware of. Firstly, this stream is kind of like your Facebook stream. Everything is shown in chronological order. Newer posts are at the top, older ones are at the bottom. Every assignment that you create will show up here, and every announcement that you make will show up as well. Here is where you can make announcements. Welcome to our class. And you can also post it immediately, schedule it for later, or save it as a draft. If you save it as a draft, it will just appear in the top here, and you can access it later. If you schedule it, it will post automatically at a certain date and time. You can also control who sees it. If you have multiple students in your class, you can divide them into two groups and only show the announcements for some of them if you want to create information gap activities for homework, for example. You can do it through the announcements and the assignments. So this announcement will be published on Monday at 8 a.m. But I don't need it. So the next thing that you should be aware of is the Classwork tab. This is very useful. All of the homework tasks, assignments, questions, materials, etc. will be here. And you can organize it into different topics. So for example, cohesion and coherence, right? Maybe another one we could say is, I don't know, functional language. And if you don't know what this means, you should take my writing course. So you can drag and drop things. I will show you how this works a little bit later for shortcuts. Here, you can see the classroom calendar for upcoming assignments and the Drive folder where everything is stored on your Google Drive. It's not really necessary, but it's just there if you need it. And then this is where you create the assignments. I will give you some more details on how to create assignments later. Classmates, teachers, you can add teachers here if you have multiple students, or you can also have teachers as observers. If someone is added as a teacher, it doesn't mean that they need to be active. They can be a teacher, but they can just observe passively and see the things that you publish. Basically, a teacher has control over all of the assignments, all of the announcements, where a student only sees things and submits. Next, there's the grades section. Grades are optional and they can be used in several different ways. I will explain to you more details about this in another video. Then there's the settings. Settings, you can change the basic details about the class, as we did earlier. You can see the code for invitations to invite students. You can also change the code or disable it if you don't want students to join who are not welcome. And here you can control the amount of freedom that students have in the stream, whether they can post and comment, only comment on your posts, or nothing at all. The classwork on the stream option controls how much information you're showing them at the same time. If you have a lot of posts, it's better to show condensed notifications so they don't see the attachments and details. But if you want them to be able to see what the details of each assignment is, then you can select this option. And then if you choose to show deleted items or not, if you want to delete assignments that have been completed, but still allow them to access it, you might want to turn on this feature. Depends on how you're organizing your classroom. Finally, the grading calculation we will get into in more detail later, but for now just leave it alone. Also, if you need to access your Google Drive quickly, here's a shortcut. Just click on this button and you'll be there right away. So that's all for the Google Classroom introduction. Next, we're going to look at how to set assignments.